working on is a touch screen and a ramps board. You probably saw my last couple of videos I've referred to that. And I think this is a great upgrade for the CR10. It's a good chance to give it a new brain and breathe some real life into it. It enables you to use a not only a filament detector, but a hold and save filament detector and restart system. If you should run out of filament, you're not around, it will hold the position. It'll actually go over and home itself and keep the heater on, and it will go back once you put filament in it and hit the restart button, just like nothing ever happened. It's a great feature, especially for the little CR10, the regular CR10. So I'd like to show you a little presentation I did on that and the touch screen. The touch screen is what holds that ability to have that filament monitor on there. It's got a very large chip. It takes over some of the duties as your control on there. The rest of your controls you can get at with the EEPROM, but we're going to go over that in the next video. So with no further ado, let's do some shop time. Okay, here is the ramps 1.4 Mark V1.6 we're using for this. This is my last shipment of these things, so not real sure. It looks like the same exact board. I checked out all the pin outs a little bit earlier. So we're going to pop this out of the bag and take a look at it. Okay. We're going to compare, just so you can see what's going on. Here's all our hookup schedule over here. Everything's looking good. Oops, thermistors. And this is extra cooling fan, move to B. I made some notes here. Those should be on the cheat sheet from the last video. If not, I'll zoom in on this one. So we're moving the part fan over to these two over here. This is the heat bed. It does have a MOSFET in it. Before we put this together, I will put heat sinks on all of these. So I'm just showing you the board here for illustration's sake. And the next time you see this, it will have the heat sinks installed. And cut to heat sinks. You can see I put them on. Probably not going to use this is extruder 1, E1, and this is E2 here. But we will cover all of these, and I put small ones on all of the tip MOSFETs here. And this would be the bed, the giant bed MOSFET. So we put a big heat sink on that. Now this does have a MOSFET, separate MOSFET over here. You can see that off camera just a bit there. Okay, that's underneath, right in here. Right back up in here. You can see it. So we'll start hooking up. Power in will be our last wires. So those are these. I'm just going to pull these off to the side. Tuck them right in there. Okay, these were the, and I showed this off camera. This actually was plugged into the other board. This will probably be the only deviation from a straight standard plug-in that we have here. These go right here. Here's your part fan A. So these go into like so. We'll start hooking up. And there is a polarity to these. Plus is on the right. Okay, so you see extruder 0, E0 and E1. We're going to be using E1, which is typical on these. I'll do one more thing here. I'm going to the board will be oriented this way as such, so we're going to want to kind of pay attention to how we put those wires in. No polarity necessary on these. Okay. Extruder, that will be left blank, and this will be the heat bed. I'm sorry. This is your MOSFET right here. Just, you want to look back in the corner, make sure these wires run to the MOSFET. It's basically just working. This is acting as a relay now, so chances are this won't even heat up. So this is basically just sending a signal. Fan, part fan. Okay. Now that leaves the two. Okay, so this comes out of the bottom one is the extruder. This one goes to the extruder, and the top one goes to the heat bed. So the extruder one that's connected down there, okay, should be this one here, and we're going to follow our, and this is extruder 0, the one on the far corner. Get you in the camera here. Extruder is in the far corner. Extruder 0, we're using extruder 0 on this. So that would be the black one on my board. I noticed some of these color codes vary. Snap that guy in, and just to double check, making sure that this other thermistor wire comes out of the top plug, which has the four lugs on it. That goes to the heater, to the heat bed. So we know that goes to heat bed thermistor A14. We'll double check our number A14. We're snapped in there. Okay. The rest of this is, the rest of these are power wires. Voltage in. And a daisy chains over to the fans. Okay, so this is going to be a little tough trying to hold on to this. The plus is on the left this time. Negatives on the right. I want to make sure those are open far enough. It's going to get pretty crowded in there. Those are pretty tight. This is an important one to make sure that you've got it snug down good. It's going to take some heat. So they've got the wires tinned, which I've heard is kind of bad. Okay, now we've got one other issue going on here to try to get this board in correct and to turn everything the way that we want it. We're just going to pull this out of the way. Or I could just mark it. Okay, so the red one will be the extruder, and the extruder is going into the black. go in. So, okay, we're freed up there. We can freely put our board in, and then we'll deal with this guy next. And let's get our screws in there. Here's where we refer back to the sheet. We're going to start out with you put it oriented where the board is. So all of our connections are over here. We're not using the first two, so I'm going to start on this end. Extruder 1, that is empty. E1 is empty. We'll start on the second one in here, which is a black connector. And we're going to go look for the E. The E is right here. Black connector. The lugs are facing backwards. Okay. E is in. Now we want to make sure we don't get these wound around each other. These are the stops for the end stops, so we're going to leave those out here. As we go, we're looking for the E0. We're looking for the Z. What you're going to see, I made this to make it simple. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. All right. Look beside here. This is the Z negative. When we home back to the negative. So Z negative, this is Z positive, Y negative, Y positive, X negative, and X positive. Now, we've got 3 wires in here in each one of these. We're going to stay to the inboard side with those plugs, and you'll also see the 2 notches from you'll see the notch in the double notches like over here in these plugs. This will fit in the single left notch. So we're going to start out with X positive, X negative, so that's number 2 X. You want to work your way forward. Here's X. Okay, snake it through. Okay, I don't know if you can see these. Let me get you a shot in the camera right here. That's these right here. So, got 2 orange, 2 blues, 2 greens. You want the second orange. You want the lug pointed that way, and you want the plug on this side of that plug. Okay, let's last but not least hook these guys up. The red one, we're going to go into our, with the lugs pointing this way, it's kind of hard to see. One. And this is kind of a reach. We're going to go like this on this one. I'm going to just go cross over everything. No rules. Second one. Bang. We're there. Okay. Now, one more thing we have to plug in. we have to communicate with our board. The only way we can do that is with one of these. So I've got a special notch that fits tightly around the USB plug here when it comes out. So we're gonna just run it out the chase, and that's gonna sit right like so. Okay, that's clicked in there. I think it's time for our fan to go back in. This thing's in there good, and we need to plug in our screen. So that is in here. MKS TFT. We know that's the screen. We just need this part here. So I'm gonna run that through the chase. Everybody sees that. And there is one place to put this. And you'll see the lug on the end of it here. So the ribbon points toward the table, toward the so we need a wire for anybody who realizes the importance of this. We need a wire stubbed out of here as a power hookup. In our case, we're going to run a probe on this. You don't need this if you're not running it. And let's just take one last look, see what we got here, see if we forgot anything. Wires are strung pretty nice, nothing loose. All the sockets are in. Okay, looking good. Here we go. Okay. We're now going to string the wire that goes to the filament detector through here, and it's going to be a kind of a tight fit through the grommet, and you don't want to damage those wires. So we're going to take a little time with this and give it a little help. Next, here's our screen. Let's go ahead and pull the protection off. And just check for fit. Let's get this guy in first. I'm going to put a little drop of super glue on him later. Okay, that sneaks right past there. It's important to remember where this goes. You'll see two plug-ins adjacent to each other. There's one lone one over here where this cable crosses. That's not your guy. This is your guy right here next to this big cap. Okay. Slot over here. Oops. Notch over there. And one last thing. This wire. The two bosses. Okay, you're going to hook this in the 3 pins that are closest to this. And I believe I did this in the last video. This one fits a little bit better on there. You're done. We're done because we need to put the cover. This bottom of this cover fits on these screws here. So we're going to leave these 2 screws out and put these screws in. Okay. So we're going to put this guy on the side. I think that's Japanese. Alright. Now, got a fan in here. So we got to watch this fan. If we put a loop in here, if we put a loop in here closest to the fan, I think we're going to be safe. Okay, we are ready to rock. Right, guys, thanks for being with me today. Please join me next time where we're going to share the how we get to the settings, to the EEPROM settings, and make changes on the fly with this touch screen. A lot of people say it can't be done. We put a lot of time and effort into figuring this out. Workarounds for this, they're very simple. You do it through your slicer program. I also have another important announcement. We have a touch probe module that works with any type of probe. It's called the Simple Probe. It hooks directly into any printer, any type of printer, and it uses any type of sensor. And it has several different terminals on it, and you hook those terminals up according to what type of sensor you have. Works off 12 volts, and it's an isolated circuit. You don't have to worry about frying your board. It's very easy to hook up. It took me 2 minutes to hook it up on my CR10, and I'll get into some details on that later, but real excited about that. Can't wait to see you next time, and till then, we're going mechanical on you, so stay tuned. This is Dave Ashenbrener. Thank you.